Alright, man, so the NBA is basically Game of Thrones right now. The Pacers have been strongly rumored, whatever, to want to throw a max offer sheet at DeAndre Ayton in a couple days, which is when they're allowed to do it, because that's technically when the Brogdon trade goes through and it opens up more cap space for them. And by doing that, that could mess up the Suns' potential Kevin Durant trade, which is apparently impossible to make given the cost of the guy. But the idea there is if the Suns match Aiton's offer, which I mean you have to do, you can't let him walk for nothing, then you can't trade him until December. Does that speed up things? Does it affect them at all? I don't know. Does it potentially mean a third team's got to get involved? Because there was a report saying that the Nets were not like super hyped about getting Ayton back in a KD move. Also, Ayton has to agree to a sign and trade. It doesn't just happen without him having a say in it. Also, the obligatory assign and trade hard caps you, so the Nets would have to send out an obscene amount of money if they took Ayton back in a sign and trade. What if the Suns would have to shift their focus more so to Indiana and being like, well, can we now work something out with you guys? I mean, I mentioned like Miles Turner in an Ayton sign and trade, but I mentioned the Kevin Durant thing there. So yeah, turns out it takes a lot to trade for Kevin Durant to the point where it's like either nobody has the stuff that Brooklyn would want, or they do, but it would deplete their team so much that it's not even really worth trading for Kevin Durant like that. I mean, there was that one tweet from an anonymous GM where a lot of people joked that it was Sean Marks, perhaps not even a joke, really. That tweet saying that DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, 5 firsts, not enough for Kevin Durant in their eyes. And if Brooklyn feels the same way, then yeah, I mean, if Durant has such a short list of teams, there's a chance that it's just impossible to trade Kevin Durant. I don't know. And so it comes back to the idea of like, is it truly over in Brooklyn? We'll get to Kyrie in a second. That's also happening over here as well. I mean, from a pure like asset management standpoint, the Nets might just say, well, the best thing we can do is hold on to him. But of course, these are people we're dealing with. And if KD and Kyrie come back to this, it could be a mess. But again, from the Nets standpoint, maybe the potential mess is better than a return you don't love for Kevin Durant. But maybe we've just reached the point of no return. Now let's get to Kyrie. So, from Windhorst, who's just on fire over the past like 2 weeks or something, I don't know. The Lakers are apparently the only team that are in the Kyrie sweepstakes, which is kind of wild because I remember when the Westbrook trade happened, I was like, this is the most Instagram trade of all time. And it might get followed up by the new most Instagram trade of all time. LeBron doesn't care about the 2029 first. Not really surprising there. The one thing the Lakers might be able to tell themselves is they can move those distant picks, as well as, Westbrook's salary to make the money work. Who knows if the Nets or a third team would really want to play Westbrook or look to buy him out on a one-year deal, buyout sort of thing. There's negotiations about Joe Harris or Seth Curry or whatever. But the Lakers could tell themselves, okay, we're out some picks almost 10 years from now, but we're the Lakers. We're going to be a free agent destination. A star player is going to want to get traded to us. And that is certainly playing with fire, no doubt, but you might be okay. I don't know. I can't see into the future that much. The other thing to be said, again, if the personalities could move past this whole offseason, which it just might be impossible, I don't know. And not just the players, but also Joe Tsai, the owner, who had a thing about how he'd prefer to have, let's say, a 45-win team as opposed to this whole thing the last couple of years. Hey, man, I get it. It's been what it has been. It's been a circus, the Nets, the past couple of years. It's still a roster that can win. Also, if there still is any chance of KD being on the team next year, I'm assuming a Kyrie Irving trade will affect that. For what that means, I don't know. So yeah, who the hell knows what's going to happen. To talk about the Raptors for half a second here, apparently they're just not putting Scotty Barnes in a deal. And at that point, if you're the Nets, you're probably just not messing with an offer. I mean, I love Siakam and Anunoby and Van Vliet and all these guys, but if it's not Scotty, I'm just not really loving trading KD for him, right? And so, yeah, we are now in waiting mode, I don't know, for at least a couple days as we overreact to Chet Holmgren games in the Summer League where he goes from the MVP to Kenny Lofton's the MVP. I might do a little video looking at Chet Holmgren's defense in that second game, I don't know.